NFL Week 16. Made it this far. And how is the NFL going right now?
I think it's going fairly well amid all these COVID things. I think last week could have been a little better, but I think it had some pretty close games. All in all.
We're gonna run through the big games here because it's not like a normal week in that you know where all the time slots are going to be. We got a Thursday night football game this week. It's only on the NFL Network. It's not on Fox, not on Prime Video. You got to pay for the NFL Network. It'll be the 49ers and Titans. Then on Christmas Day, which is a Saturday this year, the Browns and the Packers, which is on Fox, NFL Network, Prime Video. And then that's Christmas night, Saturday night, it'll be the Colts and the Cardinals, 7:15 Central Time on NFL Network. And then on Sunday Night Football will be Washington, Dallas. Monday Night Football between the Dolphins and Saints. All right, let's get into the picks. We're starting with the 49ers and the Titans. I've got the 49ers. Quite frankly, they've rebounded very well this year. They've gotten some of their weapons back, and I think they will play well against Tennessee.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Tennessee is not that great of a team right now. I think the Niners are gaining potential to be a wild card, a big. And yeah, so I just had the Niners. I think they.
All right, moving against Green Bay. What do you got? This is on Christmas Day.
The Christmas Day, 3:30. You're opening your presents. You're eating something. We're going to see the Packers win. This game, I like this game being on a Christmas game. I feel like this is a Christmas game. Browns. I don't know why. It feels like it.
I mean, you got the Packers, really the northernmost NFL team that you think of. Obviously, the Bills are north, the Patriots are north, but this is the full north. This is like Lambeau Field. That's where you always think of when you're thinking about cold environments, and that's where it's going to be. Cleveland Browns, they're in the Midwest. They're in that part of the country, but you could have had the Bears. You could have had a different team, but I mean, you would have loved to see like Steelers, Packers, or something, but we've got Browns, Packers. All right, Indianapolis, or I've got the Packers as well. I didn't say that, but you probably knew that I have the Packers. Green Bay, they played really well. We could go against the Ravens. Of course, their defense has not played well the last few weeks. Good thing for them is that Cleveland has been dealing with a ton of issues off the field. They've had a lot of COVID issues. They've had just everything go bad for them. And Green Bay, since the first week, they've been very well. They've been very good. They've kept on winning, and they'll win again. All right, our game of the week between Indianapolis and Arizona. It's only on NFL Network. We're going to go with the Cardinals here. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Indianapolis Colts, they played really well last week. And the problem with that is that the Cardinals got obliterated last week. So, to the worst team in the NFL, the Lions. They're not the worst anymore. I'm pretty sure it's now like the Jaguars are the worst team again. But the Cardinals, wow. I mean, you can't play any worse. So I think when you play bad, when you get embarrassed like that, a lot of teams really come out with fire. I know it's a home field disadvantage for the Cardinals. It's been this season. But I think the Colts, they kind of are in that position where it's like, I mean, they have Jonathan Taylor. I think the Cardinals will find a way in this game.
I'm going to have the Colts in this game. They looked excellent against the Patriots, easily better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals do have a good offense. So the Colts need to find a way to limit Kyler Murray and all those people. But I think the Colts have a great offensive line, offensive front that they can probably easily score a lot of points and beat the Cardinals. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, too.
It really could be. It really could be. Currently, our score is 146 to 136, I believe. I'm a winning. So Jordan's at 60.7%. I'm at 65.2% on the year. So not too. And the line for this game between Indianapolis and Arizona is a very close line. 1 point favorite for the Cardinals right now. So obviously, it's going to be a very good game. All right, moving on to the Sunday games. You'll be starting with the Giants and the Eagles. It's on Fox.
I have the Eagles. This is probably one of the first time I'm picking the Giants. They're not that great. I thought they could be with Daniel Jones. I think that was his name. I'm forgetting his name because he hasn't played in a while. It's Mike Glennon. But I think the Eagles have an offense enough where they can just outrun the Giants.
Yeah, we saw them dominate Washington a week ago, so I think it's just going to be really the same thing. Currently, the Eagles are 9.5 point favorites, so it doesn't seem too favorable for the Giants. So I'm going to go with Philly in this one. All right, a very good game. I ranked my top few games, and I put it on my blog. If you want to go check out my blog, s-n.blogspot.com. This is one of the games I ranked. The Rams and the Vikings. The Rams got the win on a Tuesday night game. The Vikings, of course, played a Monday night game. So both teams are a little short on their rest time, but I'm going to go with the Rams. You know why? Because of the man himself, Mike Zimmer. He's managed to keep every game close. And you know what happens when you let the Rams stay in the game? They win. Rams win close games. So I'm going to go with the Rams to beat the Vikings.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be the Rams 100% going all the way. But yeah, I'm going with the Rams too.
Yes, it'll definitely not be the Vikings winning by a lot. It'll be somewhere on the other side of the chain. Currently, I think the Rams are like 3 point favorites. Is that what we have?
3
I have them at 3. 3 points for the Rams. All right.
Well, if
Buffalo. Well, if I was gambling last week, I would have had the under on the. I would have taken the under on the Bears Vikings game, and it definitely hit. The over under was like almost 50. They ended up scoring like less than 30. It was like 40. It was like 47 or something.
And they scored
like it was like 26.
Yeah.
Well, it's 20 and then 26 at the end.
That's a full team.
So Buffalo in New England. It's the rematch. They played on Monday night a couple weeks ago. It was the show of Mac Jones handing the ball off. That's what we had a couple weeks ago. The Patriots are going to throw more passes. That's a given. But what do you got for this game?
The fact that the 3 passes, Patriots easily have this game because they need a rebound from that Colts game. They don't want to go down in the division because if they do lose to the Bills,
it's really anybody's division at that point.
Yeah, they're going to be tied because they're going to be tied. I don't know how the tiebreaker works. They're going to be 1-1 each.
I think it goes to like division play. Who played better against like the Jets and Dolphins or whatever.
Yeah, so obviously Bills would take that because the Bills outscore the Dolphins by a lot. But this is a must-win game. Patriots, they're at home in Bill Belichick's territory. I think Bill Belichick will not let this happen.
I think you just spoke gospel there. So I'm going to go with New England as well. I think it was a struggle, really, for Buffalo the last couple of weeks. I mean, we have seen this Bills team just erode. Their offense has been figured out, and their defense cannot stop anybody when they need to. I know the Bills played really well against the Patriots, but it wasn't enough in the last game. It's hard to beat a team twice, but I think New England can do that. He can do this because they got Bill Belichick. He's really the opposite of Mike Zimmer. He knows how to win games. Mike Zimmer, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just see how the Vikings do, and we'll also see how the Bills do this week. The Bills are going to be very interesting this week. I mean, I could see a scenario where the Bills win this game, but it's going to take they're going to need a lot of turnovers or something. All right, moving on. Tampa Bay, Carolina. It's a road game for Tom Brady following an absolutely embarrassing performance. Pretty easy pick. Let's go with Tampa.
If Panthers were fully healthy, I would kind of pick the Panthers because of all the injuries the Buccaneers have. But the Panthers are not that great, so I have to go with the Buccaneers.
What do you think about the Le'Veon Bell signing?
The Le'Veon Bell signing might be a little bit weird. His history with the Steelers, and then he went to his history with the Jets, and then his comments about when he went to the Ravens. But he's
don't they have like AB and Le'Veon now?
Yeah, so they have two former Steelers that were in that amazing Steelers offense a while ago. What was it, 4 years ago?
Won a Super Bowl. I think it was probably like 5 years ago now.
Yeah, they had Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. They also had Le'Veon Bell. They had a pretty good defense. They were destined to do something, and then all fell apart.
They just got stopped a couple times in the playoffs. Let's go to Jordan's favorite game of the entire week. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets. You get to start with this one. This is your Christmas present.
I'm going to go for a tie. I'm going to go for the Jets. The Jets they're 3-11, and they're like the most composed 3-11 team. They can score somewhat, and they also have a coach. So I'm going to go with the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets as well. Jaguars, you snooze, you lose. You had your chance last week against the Texans. Really, you did. And now you get to play the Jets on the road. I mean, the Jags could win this game, but I'm going to go with the Jets. They got Zach Wilson playing. He's decent. What are you going to say there?
The Jaguars, they should play for that first round pick. But it's the Jaguars, so they might win.
They might win. One of these teams is probably going to win.
Yeah, they're projected to get. If you didn't know, Lions won against the Cardinals. Texans won, so that put the Jags at number 1, Lions number 2, and Texans number 3. If you're looking for that top 3 picks in the draft.
So for those of you guys keeping score at home, this game is a pick'em. Jets were 1.5-point favorites, but now some people have a favorite for each team. So it's a pick'em right now. So they don't even know who's going to win this game. I mean, I don't know. One of these teams is going to win. All right, Detroit and Atlanta. This game, it's another regional game. It's another game where who knows what's going to happen. I think after the Lions win last week, it's a kind of party time. I know a couple of weeks ago, Jordan had his party. Like he had a huge take on someone partying or something. But we're going to go with Atlanta to beat the Detroit Lions.
This will be done. I don't think this is the first time. I think I picked the Lions before. I'm going to pick them again. Double. I'm going to re-ante. So the Lions will win against the Falcons. If they can win against the Vikings and the Cardinals, I think they can win against the Falcons. They need a home. They need an away win.
I mean, they do have Jared Goff, and they do have a decent couple of receivers. So it's not out of the question. It certainly is not. And I don't know, is there really a motive for Atlanta? That's the question.
The Lions just need to get more wins so they won't be regarded as the worst.
All right. The Falcons are a 5.5-point favorite in this game. So let's move on to Chargers and Texans. What do you got?
I have the Chargers. No question about it. Chargers are really good. The Texans are. They forgot how to play football since week 1. Said, they should be playing football last week, and now the Texans are partying because they beat the Jaguars.
All right, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think you went with the Chargers there. Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. We saw the Chargers. Heartbreaking loss. Absolutely heartbreaking loss. Travis Kelce, my fantasy team got eliminated by Travis Kelce. So let's just say that the Chargers kind of got eliminated by Travis Kelce in that game. And the Chiefs are now probably going to win the AFC West. But the Chargers very much in a spot for a wild card. And potentially, if things bounce certain ways, the Chargers, if they win this game, they win it next week, they may have a Week 18 where they can rest a few players. But we'll see. Baltimore and Cincinnati, our final early game. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a tight one. But who's playing for the Ravens? Who's going to play quarterback in this game?
I heard it's going to be Tyler Huntley.
Well, if it's not Lamar Jackson, I'm going to have to go with the Bengals in this game. I do think the Bengals played very, very, very poorly a week ago. It was a poor performance against the Broncos, but guess what? They got the win. And I think, I mean, when T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, they both got shut down a week ago. I think they're gonna get those weapons involved this week again. And I think the Bengals really learned how to play defense a week ago when they played the Broncos. I mean, they must have, because they only gave up like 10 points. So I'm going with Bengals, I guess.
Suit here. I'm going to go with the Bengals. The Ravens, since the Lamar Jackson injury, they've been competitive. Tyler Huntley is not that bad of a backup, but they just can't close out games. That's why I have the Bengals over the Ravens.
Hey, you, the listener. Want to be on the other side of the mic? Anchor is a free service that allows you or anybody else, for that matter, to make a podcast that is absolutely free. Yes, free. They offer an editing tool right in the app or on their website. Anchor will make your podcast available on platforms like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, just to name a few of them. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership to start making the moolah. It's everything you need to make a podcast right in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm or download the Anchor app today.
All right, we're back and ready to preview the rest of the games. So we do have an update from Harbaugh on Lamar Jackson. Here's what we have. As far as Lamar, this is, I believe, from John Harbaugh. As far as Lamar, we'll see how the ankle responds and continues to respond. It's getting better. Harbaugh added that he's hopeful that Jackson can return to practice on Wednesday. As far as the detail of all of it, it's not something we're really going to get into. The detail is too much, as you all know. All right, so he might play Sunday, he might not. We don't know. But again, he's been dealing with an injury, so obviously he's not practicing right now. He'll have a couple of days to prepare if he does get into the lineup. And, we saw with Kyler Murray early in the season, who I don't know if had a similar injury or not, but Kyler was held out for a number of weeks, even though we may have thought he might have played on game day. All right, moving on to a game of teams. I don't know how to describe these teams without giving them away, but it's Chicago and Seattle. All right, we're gonna let you pick this game.
I'm gonna pick the Seahawks to win. The Seahawks finally have a losing season 10 years ago. But I think the Seahawks want to close out on a note against the Bears, and it's also Matt Nagy away from his home.
Pretty embarrassing performance for the Bears offensively. The red zone efficiency, you can't get much worse than the Bears did. They weren't playing the greatest team in the world. The Vikings are not the greatest team by any means, but the Bears just struggled in the red zone to the nth degree, and it was apparent that
they had some troubles, and we'll see how they can play this week. But I have the Seahawks winning. Pittsburgh, Kansas City. This is the CBS featured game of the week. I will be going with the Kansas City Chiefs. I know the Steelers played well last week. They beat the Titans. But I think that Ben Roethlisberger, I know it's his final season. That's huge. This is huge when it comes to this game because you're going to get the best. You're going to get the best effort out of Big Ben if it's his final season. You're going to get the best effort each and every game. He's not going to leave anything out there. But these Chiefs played really well last week. And I think the longer week following that emotional victory over a rival, Andy Reid, really good when he has extra time to prepare. And I think that plays a big factor this week. Gets a couple guys a little healthier, ready to play. I don't know what the deal is with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. I heard they're on the COVID list. I don't know if they can clear it by game day, but maybe not. We'll see though.
If they are vaccinated, it should be by game time they should be ready. If they're not, they're presumably out.
So the game is on Sunday afternoon. I don't know. We'll probably know by Friday if they will, but who knows? What do you got?
I have the Chiefs. You mentioned it's Ben Roethlisberger last year. I think Ben Roethlisberger will play one more or two more years, but on a different team. I think he is fed up with the Steelers organization. They've been falling apart recently. Offensive stars, and then I guess the Steelers are riddled with injuries this year. Their defense hasn't been the same since last year. And I think the Chiefs, in the last 7 games, they have won each one. They're ready for vengeance. They regret it, and they just want to keep winning. So it's at home. I have.
All right, the other game on CBS at the same time, it's actually not a bad game. It's two teams that are good, I'd say. It's Denver and Las Vegas. Now, I don't even have a pick written down for this, so I'm going to have to wing this one. Currently in Vegas, of course, it's a pick'em game, so that doesn't provide any insight whatsoever. But what we saw last week from Vegas, they beat the Browns. They're on a tad bit of a shorter week. Denver on the other side lost to the Bengals. I think both teams are still in the playoff mix potentially. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos actually in this game. I actually don't know what we're getting in this game. I'm just going to say Vegas Raiders, they beat the Browns last week. Browns didn't look very good. And it was way too close for what the Browns fielded as a team. The Raiders really cut that game too close for comfort.
I'll go with the Raiders just because it's at home, I assume. It's at Raiders' home, I think.
It's in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes, so that's the only reason
they call
why.
It Paradise.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm picking the Raiders. I don't really like the Raiders as a team to pick because they're like a flipping a coin, essentially. But I'm gonna go. I got my luck here. I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
All right. So we had three discrepancies so far. We'll see if that continues when we get to our other primetime games. Sunday Night Football on NBC. It's Washington football team against the Dallas Cowboys. In Dallas, Jerry's World, Arlington, Texas. Jordan's got this one covered.
I'm going to go with the safe pick here. The not America's team of the Cowboys.
So you are indeed going with the Cowboys in this game, and I know we saw a terrible Washington team a couple days ago. That was absolutely atrocious. And when you see the line as a -11 for Dallas, you know that something's up with Washington. I've got to go with the Cowboys in this game. The Washington football team, I know that they've had a pretty good run this season, but the injuries that we saw, they were getting injured like every fifth play against the Eagles. And it's like, by the end of the game, they couldn't stop a run. They couldn't stop nothing. And now you're going to have to travel to Dallas. And who's even going to be the quarterback? I mean, is it going to be Taylor Heineke? He's not the best quarterback, even if he has been in the game. Like, I've got to go with Dallas. All right, Monday Night Football. When you looked at this match a couple of weeks ago, it's like, well, this is the worst Monday Night game I've seen in a long time. But both teams are actually starting to win some games and starting to get closer to the playoff mix. It's actually Miami and New Orleans. Both teams are still in the playoff hunt, I believe. Is that true?
That is true. The Dolphins have won 6 straight to put themselves in a good spot in the NFC East. If you look at the division leaders, if we ended it right now, you got Titans, Bengals, Chiefs, Patriots, and then there's 3 wildcard spots, Bills, Chargers, and then you got Ravens, but then you also have the Colts, but the Dolphins are right there.
The Dolphins.
Yeah.
Dolphins are 7-7, Raiders 7-7, Steelers are 7-6-1. Of course, they had that tie against the Lions. Baltimore Ravens are 8-6. So 8-6 has all 3 of the wild card spots in the AFC right now, as well as the Bengals are also 8-6, the division leader. So, there's a ton of teams that could still make the playoffs, including the Broncos, the Raiders. Like, every team just seems to be just right around 500 at this point in the AFC. In the NFC, it's a different story. There's some 7-7s as well. All right, what do you got?
Before I pick my game, if you didn't know, the AFC has 13 of 16 teams that have 7 or more wins. That is crazy. That is also an NFL. That 24 of the 32 teams have a winning record, or 6 or more, has 6. But besides that, Monday night game, I have the Dolphins to win this game. Looking at that Buccaneers game, I know they won 9-0. They only scored 9 points. Maybe the defense had something, but the Dolphins have a similar defense. Is pretty good, and their offense is pretty standard, as in it's all right. But I think this is a pretty good game for Monday. You think of Saints Dolphins, but it's gonna be a good one.
Like 5 weeks ago, I wouldn't even watch this game. Maybe I'll definitely have to watch a solid portion of this game at least. I will be going with the Saints, though. They're at home. They've got the Superdome crowd behind them. I don't know how this game's going to go, but what we've seen from the Dolphins is a lot of Tua magic, a lot of just really tight games where it's they were down to the Jets, and it's like really, really clenching your teeth. It's how many games in a row can this Dolphins team pull together? And I think at some point it's going to burst, and I think the Saints can see themselves as a potential playoff team. They are still trying to make the playoffs, so are the Dolphins. Both teams are 7-7. One of these teams is going to rise. One of these teams is going to fall. And I'm going to go with the Saints. I mean, we know that the Saints battled some COVID issues a week ago, and we know that the Dolphins are struggling in some aspects, but really rising in others. So I'm going to go with the Saints. They're at home, and this crowd, it's a Monday night environment. It's going to be interesting. That's, to say the least. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in that game. All right. That should do it for this week. All right. What do you want to say for a message before the holidays?
Have a Merry Christmas. Stay safe. What we need for right now.
All right, next week, ton of featured games. Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals next week. We have the Rams, Ravens, Cardinals, Cowboys, and on Sunday night, we have Minnesota, Green Bay, and on Monday night, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the great slate we've got leading up to Week 18, which will conclude the season in early January. And then, of course, the playoffs get going. We have a Monday night playoff game for the first time this year. So, season, Week 16. Let's run through the picks that we disagreed on. First, it was the Saturday night Christmas game, Arizona, Indianapolis. Jordan's got the Colts. I've got the Cardinals. Sunday game, I've got the Falcons. Jordan's got the Lions. And another Sunday game, I've got the Broncos. Jordan's got the Raiders. And then a Monday Night Football, I've got the Saints. Jordan's got the Dolphins. So could potentially both in 6 games, I believe. Is it? Yeah, Jordan could pull within 6 games. So keep it very interesting. There will be 32 games left to be picked in the regular season. So definitely not out of the question. Any last words here?
Stay safe. That's all I have.
All right. Have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And then, of course, we'll be back next week. No Thursday night football next week. So you get a little more time off of football. Peace out.